In the desktop version of PowerPoint, you will find a powerful set of tools under the Recording menu. You can record an entire slideshow or just simply record individual slides. You can add screenshots, do full screen recordings, insert video and recorded audio, and even insert interactives, including Microsoft Forms. Now, these tools allow you to create anything from flipped lessons to just simply adding content to engage your students and provide them with supports when they review the PowerPoint presentations. Now, keep in mind, your students also have access to these amazing tools in order to create more interactive and dynamic PowerPoint presentations. So let's take a closer look at the recording features now built in to the desktop version of PowerPoint. All right, so I've gone ahead and prepared a lesson that I want to record for my students on plant reproduction for grade 4 science. Again, in the desktop version of PowerPoint, because that's where you're going to find the recording tab and ribbon with all of the different recording tools. Now, I don't want to record all 11 of my slides in this particular slide deck. I want to add specific recordings to individual slides. I can do that. Instead of selecting record slideshow, I can actually select the slide that I want to start from and come back up to the record slideshow button, click on the drop down and select record from current slide. This is going to open slides in a recording placemat where I see even more tools for me to use to record either audio or video or capture digital inking. Now, let's take a look at some of those tools. So we have a record button, we have a stop button, and we have a replay button in order to preview any recordings that we add to this particular slide or any other slides in the slide deck. The notes button is very handy for teachers. If you have added any notes underneath your slides for your eyes only, you can actually see these notes while you're recording. You can enlarge the text or reduce the size of the text. Your students are not going to see these notes. The clear button is to clear existing recordings. So if you already have recordings on this particular slide and you want to get rid of them, you can go ahead and select clear. Or if you are unhappy with the recording that you add, you can go ahead and select clear. The settings button is important because it allows you to adjust your microphone as well as your camera. Again, you have buttons here to advance the slides while you're recording or to go back. Digital inking tools along the bottom, which we'll take a look at in another video. And I want to emphasize these buttons down here in the bottom right corner. So you have a microphone, which you can turn off if you just wanted to add visual recording. So maybe you're doing some digital inking, you don't want to have any audio recorded, you could turn that off. The camera button right now is turned off, but I'm going to turn that on. And this is really cool because it adds a little tiny webcam recording to the bottom right of your PowerPoint slide. Now, this is very powerful for our students because now not only do our students hear your voice as you're going over the information in the slides, but they can see you. And that is a very powerful thing for our students. So I'm actually going to leave that turned on. Now, let's add a recording to this slide as well as the next two slides. So I simply come up here when I'm ready and click Start Recording. Now, before we can answer the question, how do plants reproduce, we must know the definition of reproduction. So remember that reproduction means to make more of a species or to have offspring. Now remember, I can advance slides while I'm recording. So I can click on that little next arrow to move forward. And again, I can continue narrating the content on my slides or providing extra information to my students. And I can go ahead and advance again. Now, this is where I want to stop my recording. So I would finish explaining, and then I would go ahead and click the stop button. And those videos would be added to the slides. Now let's go back to see what our students see. So I'm going to close that particular screen, and I'm back here in my regular PowerPoint interface. And I want you to notice that if I go back to slide 2, slide 3, and slide 4 have that little webcam recording down here in the corner. And if I just hover over it and click play, now before we can answer the question, how do plants reproduce, we must know. You can now view that recording. Same thing if I go to slide number 3. So I can click on that little next arrow to move forward. And all right, now if I were in the actual presentation mode, let's present from the current slide. So I can click on that little next arrow to move forward. So notice that even in presentation mode, students see that little webcam recording and it automatically plays, but students do have control. So if they hover over that webcam recording, they can pause and then they can play, and they can also adjust the volume of the recording. That's how easy it is to add recordings to individual slides. If I wanted to skip over the next few slides, I could, and then I could go ahead and start adding more recording here by going up to the recording tab to open up that menu ribbon, and again clicking record slideshow and choosing record from current slide.